I just think the best way is to be here every single day, okay? And that people don't like that. I want you taking notes. I want you screenshotting charts. I want you reviewing at the end of the day. And I don't care if you have a day job, okay? You can do this early. You can do it late. If you're working second shift, third shift, you can still do this. And I'm not saying trade every day. That's not my point.
Yeah.
My point is put in the work every single day.
Welcome to the SteadyTrade podcast. We have a very cool snapshot niche episode that we just want to cover because it's particularly relevant right now. It's very bulls versus bears. I mean, I can go like this. I look more like a rabbit. Tim Bohen's definitely a bull. But we go in cycles in the market. Some cycles are bullish, some cycles are bearish. Some cycles double bottom dip and rips work. Some cycles morning spikes work. Some cycles every push in the market fails. And I just want to address it because the reason that trading is so difficult is A, there's an element of luck in the game, and B, the patterns in the market consistently change. So when you think that you're learning a strategy and you get a hold of it, market changes. And then you have to like relearn all of the reasons why that either worked or it didn't work. And then you add luck. Was I lucky or was I not lucky? You can often not know where you are. So I'm prolonging the introduction to make Tim Bohen wear the ball thing longer. But I just wanted to get it rolling. How does that feel, Tim and Kim? Tim Bohl.
So it's Halloween.
Oh my God!
a couple days after Halloween, and we have. I'm trying to get the mouth to work right. So, we had a little bit of a dip there into the election today. We're gapping up. I think we're up like 3-4% right now. So it's very bullish in my opinion. I don't want to go too far out on the limb, but I would like to say that this is the regain of a multi-generational bull market, and short sellers like Steven should be eliminated. They should possibly be chemically castrated, removed from the gene pool, much like my testicles were removed after I was put out the stud. And I think the same thing should be done to Steven. That's it.
I cannot even believe that. I've never seen anything like it. It's so incredibly well done.
It's almost like it's CGI.
Oh my God. It's incredible.
I don't know if I'm having a bad dream.
Maybe we're not recording and we're all having the same bad dream. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Now that I live in cowboy country, I do see those bulls actually. And now I'm feeling a little frightened.
But look, I'm really curious to ask Tim, because Tim is diehard bullish, right? And he's not just bullish on the economy, he's bullish in the market. Mm-hmm. And obviously Tim, for you, the main, the main patterns, you've got like 4 patterns that you teach, right? But a lot of them are kind of the dip and rips, especially when the squeeze and shorts, right?
Yep.
But they're just not common right now. So
yeah, I mean, well, number one, I think that, and I think you would agree with this, kind of going back to last Monday, I said kind of like the air came out, we went through, I mean, you look going back to like February when the kind of shutdowns first started and everyone was opening the Robinhood accounts. I mean, it was just insanity for 6 months. And then, the air came out, the volume came out, and yeah, a lot of the setups kind of dried up. I mean, yesterday, that APVO, I don't know if you remember APVO from yesterday, that was like the first like legit afternoon squeezer in like 2 weeks.
I was short in the morning.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Not into the afternoon, I hope.
No, dude, I took that off like 9:38 or something.
Well, which is beautiful because all of you listened out there. Because what did APVO did? It went sideways for 5.5 hours. Okay. First thing Steven will tell you is if you short these runners, if they sit there and this, him and I agree on this, even though we're playing the opposite side. That thing hung, I mean, it was flatline for 5 hours, and then at 3 o'clock it spikes, I think like $4 or $5 a share. So
I don't know why. I saw it after when I was putting in my data. I didn't see a reason why, but
I no reason. Yeah, they just. I think it was just.
Nowhere.
You know, I go back to the whole they. Yeah, I think they just hit the throttle at 3 p.m. So.
But just, I mean, it's a side note, but there's a very nice lad called Dan Irish. Have you heard of Dan Irish?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Dan Irish. He's dead good long.
Yep. And he's like a poker guy too, right?
Yeah.
Poker guy,
very good. He tries to teach. I'm sure he went through the challenge, and he tries to teach us his long strategy. I learn things here and there, but he said, if anything goes sideways, it's bullish. Don't think sideways is neutral. Sideways is bullish. And then I saw APVO and I was just like, sideways is bullish.
So let's go back, let's go back to before electricity and indoor plumbing, back when I started getting started trading, okay? Back when we were trading with abacuses and smoke signals, okay? So in 2007 to 2010, it was the exact, or even as all the way up into like 11, 12, it was the exact opposite, Stephen. And this goes back to, Stephen chose the topic today about how the mechanics, and I always joke about that Game of Thrones, the great wheel just keeps going. But back then, sideways action, man. And again, that's back when I was 90% short. You just licked your chops, man. As a short, you just sit there and you'd be like, yep.
Any seconds.
2, 3 o'clock, man. This thing's going to eat shit. And it's going to close at the low of the day, and it's going to gap down tomorrow, and I'm going to cover at 9:45, and I'm going to do it again today. And serious, I mean, obviously there's some hyperbole there, but that's what it was like back then. That big gainer that just sideways, and you were just licking your chops. And any dips you'd add into, because you're like, I know it's coming. Yeah. And not everyone, obviously.
Right.
Once in a while they'd spike, you'd cover but obviously you got to stop out if it hits a high day or whatever. But back then it was the exact opposite. Sideways action, you were just salivating. And now, like APV, again, we're recording on the 4th, look up APVO on November 3rd, 2020, and you'll see what I mean. Dead. I mean, I think it had like 10 cents of range for like 5 hours, and then rips $4. So,
but just to explain to Kim so she knows, but one other thing I'll say about that though is, and it goes back to cycles, right? There's 2 points I want to make. First of all, shorts get too comfortable, right? So shorts, and you're thinking that with me probably when I took the trade today. Too much size, not up enough. Every short's thinking the same thing. Everything fails. Short, and then things go up less and less and less, gapping up less and less. One day there's going to be a PPSI, PSI, PPI, which there's those two variants of that. SPI and PPSI, I think were two.
Yep.
And it's just going to squeeze, and the market's going to recycle. But just to explain for you, Kim, basically the good old days were shorting were probably so good because companies need to have a high stock price for various reasons, right? It needs to be above $1 just to comply with the NASDAQ regulations over a certain amount of time in the year. But also, they need to get the price high. So when they run out of money, which many penny stocks do, they need to make a deal with a private partner to sell their stock and dilute the float of the company to raise money. Now, if the more they dilute, the lower the price goes. So they need to keep the price high in order to dilute. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Right. So, the game is in the market open, it's hard to get the stock to go up because it's there's a lot of volume. Everyone knows to buy a company, but my theory is pre-market, there's no volume pre-market. There's not many buyers and there's not many sellers. So when you're pushing those news releases out, 9:10, 9:15, 8:30, the stock, everyone reacts to get momentum buyers buying. So, and shorts getting stopped out covering. The price can go really high really quickly because there's not a lot of volume in the pre-market, which means they can get that price up high. But then what Tim's saying is when reality kicks in, and this is how I trade, and this is how Tim used to trade, he's just watching that thinking, longs are going to panic, companies actually crap, shorts are going to pile in.
Yep.
And it's reoccurringly a self-fulfilling prophecy with bad companies, which is the most effective short strategy you can have. Where the problem comes in is when you get too much volume.
Yeah. And that's when it can do things that are unexpected, I presume.
Like one of Tim's strategies is going long the worst companies on earth. And one of Tim's strategies is the worse the company is, the better the long is. And Tim will explain it. I'll let him, 'cause it's his.
Yeah, again, I do those Instagram lives and the pro webinars, and people are, when people will ask, well, what do you think of the news on this dip and rip? And this is that's specifically that low float stock with insane volume and has news. And I hope for the more dubious the news. I mean, if you're on these sessions, I go to Google Maps a lot. I mean, Kim, you might not know this. I mean, some of these penny stocks are in houses. Okay. They're a publicly traded company and they'll be in a house.
In a house.
Oh, yeah.
So you go to Google Maps to locate the location and the address? That's genius, Tim. I love that.
Or they're in a pole barn, or they're in a strip mall. I mean, this is what I'm trying to do, and what Stephen, thank you for the compliment, is the worse it is, the more BS it is, the worse the chart. That's where I know 10 years ago, I'd be licking my chops, and I'd be shorting, and I'd be adding into dips, adding. But what is different, and that's, again, well said by Stephen, there's just, I mean, I remember it used to be, I would look for, I used to screen for stocks that would trade 500,000 shares and up a day, a million in them. I mean, a million shares a day in 2020, that's like, and again, if you're on those Instagram lives or something, you might hear me say it. I'm like, oh, too illiquid. Someone might be trading 2 million shares in pre-market. I'm like, who cares? Because it's just the volume is 10 times or 100 times what it was back then. So
God, it's amazing.
But I also had the rule that if a stock traded more than 500,000 shares pre-market, there was no way I was touching that. It was going to go. It was going to go at the open. Now, to be honest, as long as the stock on the pre-market chart looks like it's beginning to fail, I'm comfortable to build in from 10 million. And 10 million was like more than what it would trade on the day by far back in the day.
Wow.
So
wow. And this has happened in the last, would you guys say year or more than a year?
To me, I saw a big shift in like 2015, 2016. And then, but I mean, I'm guessing you guys are familiar with that hockey stick of growth. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you're starting a business, you're at the foot of the hockey stick. So in my opinion, the toe of the hockey stick was 2016, but then 2020 was the stick, when it had been gradually growing again. Picture that hockey stick.
Yes.
But stay at home order, coronavirus, we hit the stick. And
do you think
I'll say it over and over, I still remember, I'll always remember SRNE on May 15th. That was like, it traded 500 million shares on BS News. And I was like, what the hell is this? And it's, and all summer long, all fall, it's been different since then.
Do you feel it's because we have people that can't bet on sports, that they've all plowed into this market and increased the volume?
I think it's sports bettors. I think it's people. I think it's boredom. I think it's people looking for other ways to make money. I think it's stimulus checks. I mean, it's like, I mean, listen, if I was 22 years old, couldn't work, couldn't go to school, and somebody sent me a check for $1,200, I know what I'd be doing with it.
But
I'd be dropping it in a Robinhood account, man.
But look, every single broker is advertising on the TV, and then every single mentor is advertising across every single internet platform. So obviously, everyone is trying to bring people in, and there's nothing ethically wrong from either side to do that, right? You just got to be realistic about it.
Yes.
Because look, I saw a Tim Sykes ad. It has hands down changed my life forever. Hands down changed my life forever, and it's amazing. But obviously Tim will have it, Kim will have it. Once you get used to something, like, it's not as good anymore, right? It's brilliant for like 6 months, then this is the new life. But but no, Tim Sykes changed my life forever, and as did Tim Bohen and many other people. But the thing with the market right now is, like anything good when it's new, when anything good before booms, you need to be in there first so you can learn everything first. So then you can like, you know, like say TikTok just got big, right? All the people first on TikTok are the ones who will make all the money because they're the ones in first who got all the following. It's the same with trading. Everyone who gets in trading first, you learn all the patterns before everyone else and you work hard, then you make all the money off all the people who don't know it as well.
Like the cranberry juice guy who got a pickup truck from Ocean Spray. Nobody else is going to get that pickup truck, but that was the first guy on TikTok who, you know, made some magic. So you're right. You have to be first. You have to be one of the ones first into the game.
But we can wrap it. But all I want to do is maybe leave just, again, I'd be curious. I don't want to leave you out, Kim, but I just want to get one bit of advice for Tim. How can people adapt to changing markets? And I'm talking like month on month. So 1 month the pattern works, 1 month it doesn't work. 1 month the market's bullish, the next month it's bearish. What is the best advice to adapt to and survive in changing markets, Tim?
Hashtag unpopular answer incoming. My opinion is, and well, I think if you, excuse me, if you really love this stuff, it won't be unpopular. But I just think the best way is to be here every single day. Okay. And that people don't like that. I want you taking notes. I want you screenshotting charts. I want you reviewing at the end of the day. And I don't care if you have a day job. Okay. You can do this early. You can do it late. If you're working second shift, third shift, you can still do this. And I'm not saying trade every day. That's not my point.
Yeah.
My point is put in the work every single day. And again, I mean, 99% of people are lazy. So 99% aren't going to listen to this anyway. But, you know, the example I give is, I mean, I'm in the basement, you know, I'm still remodeling the home office. I still remember right over there, desk used to be over there in, you know, 2006. I was getting up at 4 or 5 a.m. And this is my favorite story. This is how dumb I was, but I was putting in the work. I used to TiVo, that dates me. I used to TiVo Mad Money with Jim Cramer, and I would get up at 4 in the morning and watch Mad Money every single day and write down the tickers, the BS tickers that he threw out, and I would see what they did at the end of the day. That's how I got started. That's how dumb I was.
Amazing. No, look, you were at least trying to pay attention and educate yourself. I mean, how could you know that was dumb until you did it and then found out later maybe he wasn't the best person?
Well, he was before he got on CNBC. He's the man. Read Confessions of a Street Addict. Great book.
I haven't read that book.
It's back when Jim was, you know, actually trading. But anyway, so my point is, at that time, okay, I had a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. I had a business, okay? I had a wife. I had hobbies, okay? I was doing all kinds of stuff just like I do today, but I put in that time every morning and every night. And then I started learning from Tim Sykes, just like Steven. I started running his scans. I started reading his watch list. I started, you know, I've showed on, you know, all those notebooks. I started writing down tickers that fit the criteria. What did they do at the end of the day? Did they fail? You know, again, back then I was 90% short bias. So I was looking, you know, if I had 8 or 9 stocks on watch, you know, I'm looking, okay, did this one fail? When did it fail? Oh, okay. You know, it gapped up, you know, from BS news the day before, went sideways, cracked late day. Okay. Again, same pattern we talked about a minute ago. And I put in that work every single day. Vacations, okay, I don't care. I still showed up. And I think that's the best way. And when, you know, people will be like, a question I get a lot is like, how do you know what the hot sector is? I mean, it's like the easiest answer in the world if you're here every day. Okay. I mean, today EVs are running again. I mean, if you're here every day, you know EVs have been running for 2 months. You know, it's like, but it's just daily work. And that's the best answer. So,
do you know what you just reminded us what I get? I posted an Instagram picture of me. Do you know how every month on Excel you'll have November 1, November 2, November 3, November 4, November 5. And then there'll be a column where you add the Excels together, and then it's got your weekly profit. You don't know how many people I get asking, dude, I love your Excel. And they're not talking about the data, they're talking about the profit and loss. They're like, can I please have that? And sometimes I feel like I'm being a dick, but I'm like, look, I don't say it to people, but I'll say it to everyone. I'm like, look, if you kind of figure this out, you're never going to figure trading out. Do you know what I mean? Like, if this is your barrier,
if you can't figure out equal to sum of A2 colon A10.
Honestly, though, like, because I remember
good luck.
Excel.
Good luck.
But like, I suck at maths, right? I was in the bottom set, and my mum had to get as a private tutor just so I'd get like a C. I sucked at maths, but I just sat for hours thinking, how do I work out the percentage of this going from this to this? Like, I spent hours figuring that shit out. So if people can't do pluses and they're being that lazy, I'm immediately like, you failed. Because I'm like, if that's your attitude, you failed before you've started.
You know, and you know, again, you guys know I'm Mr. Positive, and I always say I want the best. I want all 8 billion people on the planet to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, as Ben Franklin would say, I want the best for everyone. But at the end of the day, God bless those idiots, Stephen, because that's what makes penny stocks work, man. It's what makes them work. You know, if it wasn't for lazy idiots, we wouldn't have these trades every day. You know?
And on that note, God bless capitalism.
Yes, sir.
Because it rewards the hard workers.
Yep. Back to the Ayn Rand. So, yeah. So.
I like what you said, Tim, about the concept of being there every day and watching, because what I'm hearing you say is that the only way you're going to be able to understand what the trends are, or where you have to pivot your particular approach, is if you're paying attention, because the market's going to tell you where the approach is going, if you're paying attention, if you're listening to it and watching it.
Yeah, and it's just, it's like, I mean, that's just like so many things. It's like, I mean, if you want to lose 10 pounds, just show up every day, go for a walk. Okay. I mean, if you go for a walk and drink a gallon of water, you'll probably lose 10 pounds in a month. Okay. But no one ever likes that. They're always like, well, what's the diet? What's the workout program? Yeah. What's the machine?
The pill.
Give me a shake weight. Yeah. Or a pill or something,
Totally.
But I mean, it's just like anything, or building a business. I mean, I had a successful business. I sold it, almost a decade ago, but it wasn't anything special. We just showed up every day, took care of the customer. I mean, we were building computers and putting in dial-up internet. It wasn't any rocket science. We didn't create a Google. We didn't create a Tesla car. But, I mean, and the business is still there today and successful. You just show up every day, take care of the customer. It's like, it's not that hard. So
at the end of the day, hard work calluses the mind. That's what I strongly believe. Suffering calluses the mind. Pain calluses the mind. I truly believe that. Like, if you're struggling with a diet, like, and this is why I did the whole fasting thing, not to go on too long, but if you're struggling with a diet, try and not eat for 2 days and see how you feel then. Your diet will be pretty easy after you've fasted, after you've not eaten for 2 days. You'll be having a great time dieting after you've not eaten for 2 days. So it's just like, if you're struggling, take the pain to another level.
Yeah. Be willing to be with the hard to be with stuff. And I say it all the time about the heart, the emotions. Like, most people haven't been taught how to surf the hard to be with emotions. And so they just look for the quick fix or the comfort or how to numb them. But if you are learning how to surf hard to be with emotions, whether it's in the market, whether it's just in your own personal life, your strength and stamina will increase tremendously.
Honestly, pain, unless it kills you. I mean, look, it's that saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. Pain makes people success. Pain and suffering makes people successful and strong. Doing the hours of study,
like you said.
Look,
I 100% agree. Though I do prefer the Dalton from Roadhouse quote of "pain don't hurt." So, but anyway,
pain doesn't hurt. Pain doesn't hurt. It just makes you stronger. And look, but
which, by the way, that's your home. That's all the listeners' homework. If you haven't watched Roadhouse recently, make sure you do.
Is Roadhouse a movie?
You've never watched Roadhouse.
I haven't. Is it a series or a movie?
Podcast is over. Kim is fired.
But
You've never watched Roadhouse
No.
with
Is
Patrick
it a series?
Swayze. With Patrick
No.
Swayze.
No, I'll watch that now.
Oh, damn, he's a handsome bastard. So
Is it? I've never heard of it.
you have to watch it today.
Did it come out before Dirty Dancing or after Dirty Dancing?
I would say a couple years after. He was a big star, so it would have been after Dirty Dancing.
Okay. All right. That's a good movie. I'll put that on my Netflix.
It's often called the best worst movie of all time. So
yeah,
I mean,
I love those.
It's terrible, but you'll love it. You'll love it. Steven, have you watched Roadhouse?
No, I'll probably watch it in a few days.
We'll be Roadhouse converts. He's like, you're fired too.
Can I just want to end it on one thing. Because people can look at us, right? Not that I'm anything special, but what a lot of people will say is, how do you light that fire underneath you? Like, how do you have that drive? And it's an interesting one for Kim, especially. Like, how do you find that drive? Because I've got a pal and I give him shit all the time. And one day when he was drunk, he says, Johnson, you're too hard on us. You're just too hard. You've got this insane drive, but other people aren't like that. Mm-hmm. How do you light up that drive inside? And because people can say it's easy for you guys, you're dead driven, but how do you light that drive inside of someone? Or is it like, is it just within DNA or what? Like, can it be made? Kim?
Gratitude. Write a list of 100 things that you currently have that are extraordinary. Like the fact that if you live in the United States, you can politically disagree with the politician and not, be killed at night or put in jail. Like, list all the things that are a win. Even if you have a piece of shit car, you got a car. Like, even if you have cable, you can afford cable. There, most people that are probably watching this, they just don't realize that they are the 1%. People think, oh, I'm not one of the rich guys. No, I'll tell you, if you look at poverty across the globe, people who can't feed themselves.
Oh, remember, like $36,000 a year puts you in the 1% globally.
Correct. So like, if you start to focus on what you do have, what you have survived, what you have made it through, everybody has hard times, but start to be focused. One of the things I recently spoke to, it wasn't so much Goggins, but like, there is somebody out there who absolutely has it worse than you. And the only way you can start to appreciate what you do have is if you step into gratitude. And I know that may sound so wishy-washy or so maybe like simple, but I'll tell you, if you really start to focus on what you do have, it can give you a shift. So that's my advice. Try to focus on what you do have, and that might empower you enough to realize, maybe I can start to create a different kind of experience for myself.
As always, I totally agree with Kim, and she's way more thoughtful than I am. So I'll counter with my standard caveman response. Especially when it comes to trading, again, this might be unpopular. I think you gotta have it, because you're gonna struggle, man. Again, I look at, my journey was 15 years ago. I was with Steven for the majority of his journey. And there were some dark times, man.
Very dark, bro.
I think every day. I still get up at 4:30 every day, and first thing I do is go to the Wall Street Journal. First thing I do is go to Bloomberg. First thing I do is fire up the scans. Hey, what's gapping up this morning? So I don't know. How do you get that? I don't know, but you need to get it somewhere. And that's my opinion. In this niche, if you're not like, hey, what's going on? What were the runners today? What happened today? You got to find that. You got to light that fire some way, which I don't know how to do it. Kim gave some tips, or maybe this niche isn't for you. Maybe you should, again, do. Yeah. There's a million different careers out there.
Yeah, agreed. And it may not be for some people, and I feel like that's okay. You do have to have that interest. If you're just motivated by the money, the thought, oh, I have to make money this way, I don't think it's going to work. I think you have to be really curious about the markets, curious about the sectors. I think and the patterns. Like, if you're not curious and find all these things kind of excite you, then maybe it is worth, considering it may not
again,
be
just to kind of close the loop on that, because back to like Stephen was asking about earlier, like me getting started and stuff, like this is, again, dates me, okay. 2007, 2008, I had a Razor, okay. Remember the Razor? That was like the badass flip phone, okay.
I loved my Razor. I couldn't let it go for the longest time.
I tell you, probably the one I missed the most is my BlackBerry Pearl. That was like the candy bar BlackBerry. Ooh, I missed that thing. Anyway, when I was getting started, I didn't know what the ticker, what anything was doing, because I had a Razor. I can't look up stock prices, and a lot of my business was visiting customers and stuff like that. So I just was like, I couldn't wait to either get back to the offers and see, okay, hey, what did APOV do today? And now I'm not saying you can't do that with an iPhone. Obviously you can just look it up, but I'm just getting at the point, like, I was like, man, I wonder what that thing did today, and I'd get back to my desk and fire up Yahoo Finance or whatever. Yeah. But
that's your curiosity. That was your curiosity. It whet your curiosity. So that's what I would say to people, Stephen, like, does this whet your curiosity? If you're not feeling really curious, like Tim is in that moment, or like you'll be going up against not having sleep to pay attention, like that's not there for you, you got to find it. That's why I think we have to look hard. Sometimes we have to turn over a few rocks to find what is our.
This is a very difficult question to ask you guys, but I think it should be asked. But because you've got to love the game, right? Like, I love the game, and I've always loved the game. And Papa John loved blackjack, and Roland loved blackjack, and I played poker, and Dan Irish played poker, and Tim read the Wall Street Journal every morning. He was addicted to finance. But is the fact that you hate your situation so much, or you want to give your child a better future? Is that enough? I'm doing it for my kid. Because what happens if you lose for 2 years and you're doing a disservice to your kid? Like, if you're doing it for your kid, is that love enough? Or do you need a love of the game as well? It's a difficult question.
Coal miners probably have never loved their job, and they're doing it for their children. So, but that also, there were limited choices, right? Usually, and even the Rust Belt across this country, there are lots of people doing things they don't love because they love their children. And so you just have to ask yourself, is this really the only option you have, is my thought. And if it is, and you feel this is the only way forward, then you've got to just from the beginning, bake into this experience, this recipe, that you are probably going to be unhappy a lot of times, but that discipline and willingness to be, this is a hard game. Like, are you willing to do that?
But Kim, I grew up with participation trophies. I don't want to be unhappy.
I know, but
after every soccer game, no matter what the outcome, I got a candy bar.
I know that your poor parents were misled about how.
Whatever. When I grew up, I played Little League. My dad drank beer and smoked cigarette while we rode in the back of the pickup. The whole team.
I bet he did.
That's no lie.
Lucky you didn't get a participation. That's because you didn't get that participation model, but some of our listeners did, and it did you guys some disservice. So now is the time to listen to the Jockos of the world and start to realize that you actually have had amazing opportunities, and that frustration level you got to get comfortable with, because it's part of life, part of growth.
Tim, we'll finish on you. What do you think is the love of to do it for family enough, or do you need a sort of an addictive to be addicted to the markets kind of thing?
Actually, I'm going to very much kind of mirror what Kim said. I think
your volume's a little low, Tim. We can't really.
The problem is, it's automatically adjusting it. There we go. So when I scream so much, it that better?
Yeah, much better.
It was set on the auto adjust, so when I scream, Zoom is trying to control me. I will not be controlled by you, Zoom. So, my opinion, I know a lot of guys that are farmers. I know my dad worked in my dad worked at Federal Mogul as a line worker, would work 60 hours a week, come home and farm at night. I think that, and all of you know, I mean, I'm a huge fan of work ethic. One of the reasons I do so much hard shit is I don't, you know, as much as I like sitting at a computer all day, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to do something hard. So back to your coal miner, your farmer, your factory worker, I think you do that to take care of your family. You do that to do what you have to do. And that is nothing. I have no more respect than, you know, anybody for people that will do that. And again, I was working 70, 80 hours a week. I mean, yeah, it's building computers, but it's grinding, man. So I think stuff like those careers that drive to take care of your family, to give them, you know, put them to college, give them a good life, etc., can be done. But in trading, I just don't think you can, you know, you can't force it in trading. I think you have to have a passion. And that's why I tell everybody, I mean, you know, I traded for 6-7 years before I sold my business. I mean, it was like, I think too many people try and make it their career too soon. They put too much baggage on their back. And listen, when you're a coal miner, you can just grind. Okay. You can grind 80 hours a week and put your mind to it and do it. But trading isn't like that. So you got to have the passion. And if you don't, I mean, I'm glad you're listening and stuff, and I wish you the best, but man, it's got to be in you. So
very, very real answers. Absolutely love the authenticity of the podcast. Love the truth. I don't feel like we've got enough of it on the internet. And we'll wrap it on that note. I echo the sentiments of the message. I think if you don't have the passion and you don't love the game, then ultimately the fire will die, right? So we'll leave on the happy note. Tim Bohen, Ann Curtin, Stephen Johnson. This has been the SteadyTrade podcast discussing market cycles. I hope it's been beneficial. And if you'd like any kind of topic to be discussed in future episodes, comment below, hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next week.